I am your host, James Yoder. You're watching the Michigan Football Report by Chat Sports. We are going to talk some major Michigan football news that dropped overnight. Kind of dropped last night. What time was that, Jack? About 8:30 Eastern. The news dropped. ESPN forced to report it. Detroit Free Press, Detroit News, and others had some behind-the-scenes scoop. Kind of did some record dive, and we're going to give you an opinion. There hasn't been a ton of new things, at least up to us going live. If something breaks live, make sure you guys tell us in the live chat. We're not necessarily keeping track of the news while it is going on. But before we dive into the Matt Weiss stuff, given that Michigan's going for a third straight Big Ten title next year, let's take the pulse of the fan base, the pulse of the crowd, pulse of you, the viewer. Which is the better Michigan football team? They both have the same outcome, beat Ohio State, okay? Won the Big Ten championship game. Now, last year's team, 2021, 2 years ago, I guess now, they crushed Iowa 42-3, while Michigan kind of let Purdue hang around. Better, more competitive this year in the CFP, but still lost. Undefeated this year in 2022, lost to Michigan State last year. But let me know which is the better Michigan football team, 2021 or 2022. If anybody gets in the live chat in the next 10 seconds, I'll give a couple shout-outs. 2022 from Melvin, better all-around team. You might look back, though, guys, and say 2021 had more talent, right? Ojabo, Hutchinson, Dax Hill, Hassan Haskins, all those guys, Andrew Stuber, weren't on that team, but then J.J. McCarthy emerged, Blake Corum, Diamond Edwards became kind of superstars, and we saw what we got out of Colston Loveland down the stretch, and I think ultimately the undefeated season puts them over the top. It is 2022. Let's talk about the criminal investigation bombshell that hit on Tuesday night. Michigan Police, the University of Michigan Police, is investigating Matt Weiss for a report of computer access crimes, which is a very, very vague thing to put out there. And I will admit to you, when it came out, computer access crime, put it on leave, undercover cops at his house for hours, days prior, my mind, like tons of people out there, went to the worst. Just like if a young person passed away, you ultimately think the worst. It's like murder or drugs or suicide or a car accident, unless they have some sort of disease that you know about. And I thought that computer access crimes, oh boy, that sounds like as bad as the stuff you can get. Hopefully is not. And I think as time has gone on, late night into last night into today, it clearly seems that it is not something that's going to put him in jail for a long time, if at all, I don't think. But we still don't really know what all the details are. So here's what we got going on. Police investigating Matt Weiss, been with Michigan for 2 years, was with the Baltimore Ravens for 12 years prior to that. Computer access crimes. Now, it happened at Schembechler Hall before the bowl game. So December 21st through the 23rd is according to the statement by the police. They searched his house on January 10th. So last Tuesday, unmarked police vehicles were apparently in his driveway for hours, according to his neighbor. So that is what we know. And then let's take a look at what this actually means. What law could he have broken per the police statement? So fraudulent access to computers, computer systems, and computer networks. This is from the Michigan Legislature Act 53 of 1979. They had computers 43 years ago, but I guess they did at least some sort of computers. Intentionally or without authorizing, by exceeding valid authorization, do any of the following. Basically, access or cause access to be made to a computer program, yada, 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 damage, delete, or destroy property. So he could have deleted files, he could have accessed files that weren't his, or knowingly attach or create unknowing or unwanted attachment of instructions, or basically what that last part is, a virus. So you're either accessing something, deleting something, changing something, or you're kind of attaching some sort of malware or virus to it. It doesn't sound like it's any downloading things. It doesn't sound like it's any cryptocurrency scam, which I think there was a lot of speculation it could be yesterday. So now Weiss is on leave from the program. Now, it's kind of funny because over the weekend, and into Monday and then early Tuesday, there had been credible reports. It's like, hey, Michigan offers this guy a scholarship. Michigan visits this guy. Well, that's a quarterback, or that's an offensive player. It's in California. It's on the West Coast. Those are Matt Weiss's responsibilities. Why is Sharon Moore going out and offering a Keely Smith's son, who kind of like, wow, Keely Smith is a son who's already a Michigan recruit. I guess he was at Oregon, 25, 26 years ago himself, 24 years ago. But Sharon Moore. So I actually thought, and had this news not broken last night, I may have speculated in the show. It's like, why isn't Matt Weiss recruiting? Could he, like we told you 3 weeks ago, potentially be pursuing NFL jobs, either QB coach or offensive coordinator? He spent basically his entire career in the NFL prior to that. Now, then I thought to myself, well, if this happened in December, did he actually go to the the game? Was he at the Fiesta Bowl? Well, he spoke to media on December 27th, and then confirmed myself through game tape, and then just come out from there. Of course, he was at the game, but my first thing I went to was like, well, we don't always see assistant coaches on the side. I don't really pay attention to that all the time. I'm like, is there a chance he just wasn't at the game? They sent him home or something like that? No, media, he was on the sideline. I don't think Michigan actually knew anything about this because of this photo right here. Now, this is from the University of Michigan internal system, Division of Public Safety and Security. Basically, if anybody in the University of Michigan campus makes a report to the police, the campus police, it will show up on this system. So I'll read you what you see on screen there from that. It's from January 5th at 12:44 p.m. Fraudulent activity from Schembechler Hall, right, where Michigan's football headquarters. Employee reported fraudulent activity involving someone accessing university email accounts without authorization. Okay, so now we have some actual substantive proof. Accessing university email accounts. Don't know what it means necessarily. Upon further investigation, it was found that a crime may have been committed. So someone kind of, it seems, internally ratted him out. So is it, hey, Matt Weiss jumped on my computer when I went unlocked and did something? I think it's going to be intriguing to see kind of how this all shakes out, but it does seem that a Michigan football employee was the one who turned this over to the investigators back on January 5th, which would have been, 13 days ago. So that was 2 Thursdays ago, right? Is that January 5th was a Thursday, because the 4th would, of course, been a Wednesday, if today is the 18th. So that is kind of how this is shaking out. I want you guys to put in the live chat, put down in the comments if you're watching this later on Wednesday, what's your one-word reaction to Matt Weiss's police investigation that dropped late on Tuesday evening? Folks, mine is stun. If I have two-word reaction, it's like, what the F? I'm just going to make it WTF. That is kind of a crazy, shakeout. Annoyed from Mark Schenk on the live chat is the first comment I came seeing on that. So give me your one-word reaction to Matt Weiss, Michigan's quarterbacks coach, co-offensive coordinator, got promoted, was actually kind of rumored last year to be prepping Jim Harbaugh for the Vikings interview and would have gone with Harbaugh to be his OC in the NFL. He is under investigation by the police. He is put on administrative leave from the Michigan football program. He put out a quote, I'm sorry, not his quote. This is from Michigan, the University of Michigan Deputy Police Chief Crystal James. The University of Michigan Police Department is investigating the report of computer access crimes that occurred at Schembechler Hall December 21st through the 23rd of 2022. Since this is an ongoing investigation, there is no additional information to share. So that is from Crystal James at the University of Michigan, the Deputy Police Chief. So Matt Weiss, I'll give him credit. He's not hiding from it, and I think a lot of people in this position where you're all of a sudden the focus of the entire college football universe for at least a night, we'll kind of see how the news cycle goes. He did put out a statement last night. I think it was first reported by ESPN. I'm aware of an ongoing investigation by the University of Michigan Police Department and fully cooperating with investigators. I look forward to the matter being resolved. Out of respect for the integrity of the investigation, I will not have further comment. So that is Matt Weiss. Folks, no matter what happened here, this seems bad, because if it was just accessing someone's email account, like, I don't know, you go on, someone leaves their computer, you type in their password somehow because you saw them type it in, and you're just checking their email, that seems like nothing, right? I mean, I can't even imagine. I know this is a public university, so it kind of goes into government, but I can't even imagine that's a prosecutable crime. I mean, people are robbing stores all over the country. You're going to look at somebody's email account. So I think something nefarious had to happen here, right? I don't think it's anything like child pornography or cryptocurrency scams where he's laundering money for the Russian mafia, anything like that was speculated out. I speculated myself. But something happened more than just logging into somebody's email. And I don't know what it is, but I'm really intrigued to see how it comes out. Unless he's completely exonerated, I do think it's likely that Michigan has to sever ties with him because it happened at Schembechler Hall. If this was a personal matter outside of the university, then I think he would have potentially easily came back because of just like, oh, wow, actually someone emailed out. But if it happens in the workplace, Michigan's hands are kind of tied. I'm not sure they have much of a leg to stand on by returning him. I hope this isn't something terrible, though, and it seems like it isn't, but we'll see kind of how things shake out with Matt Weiss on leave from Michigan, their co-offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. Guys, we got more to talk about here on Matt Weiss. I'll try to throw out a few replacements. Now, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I would be silly not to at least speculate who Michigan could hire as a quarterbacks coach, maybe co-OC, but I think it would just be QB coach if they were to hire someone from the outside or even potentially someone in the program that's not yet a coach. Coach, before, shout out your city. Let me know where you're watching from down in the comments or watching on the Michigan Football Report live chat, recording this Wednesday afternoon. Got a Bosa from Go Blue. We must be watching in Bosa, Michigan, one of the great towns in all of America. All right, keep shouting out your cities in the live chat and down in the comments. But I'm going to speculate a little bit on possible Matt Weiss replacements. So let's take a look at these Matt Weiss replacements. How about this guy, Kirk Campbell? It's that name probably you've heard of. I remember when he got hired. Over the summer. He put out a quote. He was Old Dominion's offensive coordinator. I thought it was kind of a weirdish move, but, offensive analyst from Michigan, interesting. On3, which is a new recruiting site in the last year and a half, they put out like their 50 rising coaches, either guys who are like in group of 5 or analysts that aren't yet coaches that are like the next wave. He was one of them just in the last few weeks. So it kind of got my eyes to perk up. Others have speculated out there on the internet that he is next in line and really has Jim Harbaugh's ear when it comes to passing formations and such from there. How about Willie Taggart? I wouldn't be too excited about this guy, but he has a proven track record of being a head coach. And sometimes head coaches, when they get humbled a little bit, he was fired from USF. He was fired from Florida State. He was at Oregon for 1 year, Western Kentucky prior to that, and he coached with Jim Harbaugh's dad. And actually, Jim Harbaugh recruited him when he was kind of an unpaid staffer at Western Kentucky, back, 30 years ago or so, 30 years ago. It's potential. Jim Harbaugh, they call him the third Harbaugh brother. He was like officiant or best man in one of Jim Harbaugh's wedding or groomsman. So it's possible. Willie Taggart just accepted a job as an analyst with Colorado, Deion Sanders. So if he had a position coach job with Michigan, he would definitely leave that. Jimmy Doherty, you may remember him. He was in Michigan a number of years ago. He was kind of like Kirk Campbell is now. He was like, hey, this guy is the next up-and-coming offensive coach. He's an analyst, etc. He was at, Fresno State before he came to Michigan, I think it was. Quarterbacks coach now with Arizona. And, of course, their head coach, who used to be Michigan's offensive coordinator himself. So then how about this last name? Brian Griese. Now, some people say, no way Brian Griese will be Michigan's quarterbacks coach. He's a quarterbacks coach with the 49ers. But Jim Harbaugh is the head coach of the 49ers. He's at Michigan. A lot of times the lure of their alma mater can bring them back. He's done a hell of a job. 3 different quarterbacks this year, folks. Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo, and now what's the guy's name now? Brock Purdy, right? He's got them favored in the second round of the NFL playoffs, maybe favored to win the whole thing, at least win the NFC at this point. National championship quarterback for Michigan. Now, people say, look, he criticized Harbaugh so bad in 2020. There's no way Harbaugh will bring him back. They probably hate each other. Well, Mike Hart in 2007 said, I wish Jim Harbaugh never played for Michigan football when Harbaugh made disparaging comments about Michigan's academics compared to Stanford. So bygones will be bygones. Harbaugh doesn't seem like he's a guy who holds grudges necessarily. So those are 4 people that I potentially think Jim Harbaugh could go after. It does seem like, from reading the tea leaves out there, Kirk Campbell might be the guy who gets pegged, but Harbaugh has surprised us many a times and gone outside the program for hires that no one was expecting in the past. So those are 4 names that I would speculate on. Guys, if you have yet to subscribe to the channel, it's a Michigan football breaking news, like you see here with the Matt Weiss, put out a YouTube short last night. Rumors and recruiting. We have the latest news, and during the season, folks, we put out a video every single day, plus do live shows on the Michigan Football Report on YouTube, youtube.com/Michigan TV. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and send the link to a friend of yours who is a Michigan football fan.